Hi guys, welcome to the Citizen channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Please, if you are new to this channel, please push that subscribe button. We do everything City, past and present here on these little vlogs, so I do try and inform and entertain, and there's some links on screen as well for Facebook and Twitter where I do post loads of City stuff. So if you follow a friend me on there, I do check every few days and follow and friend everyone back. And if you do get a chance, please have a check out my film and TV channel as well, which I try and inform and entertain on there, and all the latest films and TV drama here in the UK and from around the world. So if you can check that out, that will be fantastic. Anyway, hope you enjoy today's feature. And welcome to the History Boys. Today we're going to go back in time. Yes, we're going to go back to 1968. Were the Beatles still about? I think they were struggling by then, weren't they? But a couple of interesting things. But we're going to go back to Game 4 of the 1968-69 Football League Division 1 season, as Leicester City welcomed the current then reigning champions of Manchester City, of course, to Filbert Street. So we're going to have a look at that today. Yeah, August 1968. So away from football, Money Money, if you remember that song. If you're as old as me, you young guys will look at me as I'm something silly. I do remember the song. I don't remember the group though, but that was by Tommy James and the Shondells. I had no idea, but I do remember the song. I could even hear it in my head now as I say it. Money Money. And the Shondells, there you go. Tommy James and the Shondells was having its second turn at the top. Yeah, it'd been at the top of the charts a couple of weeks before. It was having a second go at the top of the chart. So there you go. Rosemary's Baby was scaring people to death at the pictures. It was a build-up to decimalisation, of course, over the next 2 or 3 years. I started that at junior school, checking all that, and used to have my ready reckoners, didn't we, and all that sort of thing. But the 5p and the 10p piece was puzzling the public as we were getting used to this thing up and down the country. We need a few of those coins actually, because prescriptions now had to be paid for on the NHS. How much are they now? Far too expensive now. Dad's Army had just started. I think it was up to episode 2 or 3 of a new series called Dad's Army. So I wonder how that went on. I wonder if that did very well in the schedules. But that was on its first series run on the BBC. And this is a cracking one as I'm recording this. Obviously, we're trying to come out of our own COVID pandemic, aren't we? But the Hong Kong flu pandemic had reached the UK, and it would kill over 80,000 people over a couple of years. So I had no idea. I might go and find out a little bit about that. And a pound, if you had a pound in 1968, what would it get you now? What would it be worth now? Well, it'd be worth about £17.79. So there you go. If you had a pound in 1968, that's what it'd be worth now. It probably wouldn't buy as much now as it would then, but there you go. Anyway, I digress now. Back to football. Yeah, we'd had my City. We'd had a mixed start to the season, losing to Liverpool in the first game of the season at Anfield. We won at home to Wolves, but then drew at home to those across the road, the European champions, of course, who came to the English champions. A 0-0 thriller at Main Road. It wasn't too thrilling. A tiring tour to the US had took part, don't forget, after we'd won that league title in 67-68, and it did have a little knock-on effect for our skip. Yes, Tony Buck. He missed over half the season. Coming back, he was injured, so it did have a big effect on City. I mean, most people of the days did say obviously it did affect City greatly. I mean, the average points that City gleaned when Buck was playing as opposed to when Buck wasn't playing for City were quite significant, and it did have a big effect on the season. Leicester, though, they were having their own problems. They'd drawn at QPR in their first game, and they'd been defeated at Arsenal and at home against Ipswich Town. So on the 21st of August 1968, a crowd of 30,076, which wasn't that bad crowd for Leicester in those days, was at Filbert Street to watch the champions play Leicester City. The teams that day for City, Leicester City, I forgot this precise answer. Shilton was in net. Woolett, Bell, Mackay, Schoberg, Manley, Fern, Clarke, Stringfellow, Nish and Gibson. That was the Leicester starting lineup. Nothing too much to worry about there, I don't think. Mr. Clarke might be a bit of a problem though, but we'll see, won't we? City's team that day was Mulhern in goal, Kennedy, Pardo, Doyle, Heslop, Oakes, Lee, Bell, Somerby, Young and Coleman. So, yeah, the backbone of the team that had won us the league title, of course, there's not many differences to say, apart from the obvious one like Tony Buck. Harry Dowd was obviously playing the reserves in this game. Yeah, so that was the teams. Journalist Dave Smith takes up the story from this game, from the Leicester perspective. This is from the Leicester versus Manchester City matchday programme on Sunday, May 23rd, 2004. So a little piece by journalist Dave Smith on the game itself and a little bit of leading up to it, etc., etc. Dave Smith says, it really was a different soccer age back in those days, 1968, for during the summer, Leicester City had gone out and broken the British transfer record to sign Allan Clarke. So it's not just City, is it? Used to do, or Manchester City used to do that, from Fulham for a hefty sum of £150,000. Sniffer, that was his nickname, had netted on his debut to earn a point at Loftus Road and had a quiet time in 2 subsequent defeats that had left the Foxes in 21st place. Yeah, it was 22 teams in the league then. Obviously, they left Leicester in 21st place, 1 point from 3 games. In the initial published table, they were 21st. So as reigning league champions Manchester City arrived for this midweek clash, City fans were still waiting to see whether this had been cash well spent or not. And he means they're City fans, of course. The answer provided on the shimmering late August floodlight seemed to be an emphatic in its arrival. Clarke's hat-trick was all done and dusted before the half-time whistle and owed as much to the silky creative skills of midfielder Davy Gibson as it did to the predatory instincts of the record striker. The first came after 10 minutes. Gibson hit a glorious 30-yard pass to send Mike Stringfellow away on the left wing, not for the first time in their partnership, and the winger's cross was only half cleared, allowing Clarke to swoop and rifle the ball home from 12 yards. He wasn't called Sniffer for nothing, was he? The second, after 27 minutes, was set up when Gibson robbed Bobby Kennedy, raced through to draw Ken Mulhern, and slipped the ball to Clarke for the simplest of tap-ins. I think we're getting a gist of what Mr. Allan Clarke's all about here, aren't we? The third, a minute before the break, again started with Gibson sending Stringfellow away on the left. This time his cross appeared too strong, but it was well retrieved by Rodney Fern, who found Clarke in the area with his back to goal. The striker turned on a sixpence, or a 10-pence piece, or a 5-pence piece, who knows, on a sixpence, and slammed home an unstoppable drive to lay claim to the match ball. City held out comfortably, that's Leicester City, in the second period, though the visitors, that's us, would more than extract revenge, of course, later on in the season. Yes, we certainly would, wouldn't we? So it didn't all end in tears, did it, for us? But there you go. So a bit of a shock at Filbert Street that day. I've been to Filbert Street, I think, at least twice. I may have been 3 times. I can't remember now. A bit before I was going this one, though. It was a few years, about 5-6 years before I started going to away games. So yeah, City, yeah, the bad run continued. Of the next 6 games, we drew 3 and lost 3 of the next 6. So it wasn't fantastic. The defence of our title had started fairly mixed to bad, to be honest with you, and we never really recovered that season. We would finish a poor 13th. We would get a 2-0 win against Leicester at Main Road in the following April, the following return match. And of course, we'd get even further revenge, wouldn't we, when we faced Leicester in the FA Cup final in April 1969, where our revenge was underlined, and this time no hat-trick for Mr. Sniffer Clarke, was it? We sort of snuffed him out, didn't we, as far as the final's concerned. And at least it was a trophy for City, wasn't it? A fantastic trophy, the FA Cup, probably just as important as a league title in those days. But for Leicester, it was a different story. In the league, of course, Leicester was just slightly worse than us, or slightly less consistent than we were, and we weren't very good. After the FA Cup final, they still had 5 league games to play. It wasn't the end of the season with these FA Cup games in those days. They still had 5 games left to play. And they were in trouble. They were down there. We were down there with the dead men there. I think QPR had been sort of left behind, if you like, but Leicester was struggling. They managed to win 2 wins and a draw and 2 defeats in the last 5 games. But sadly, I mean, they lost the last game of the season. If they'd beaten United at Old Trafford, they would have stayed up. But unfortunately, they lost 3-2 at Old Trafford. So in those 5 league games, 2 wins and a draw just weren't enough to save them. And along with the FA Cup defeat, of course, it was a disappointing season, as the Foxes would end up being relegated from the First Division as well. So not great for them. So thanks for joining me, for this little look back at the game of Leicester City back in 1968, our little History Boys feature of Leicester City versus Manchester City. I hope you enjoyed that. If you were there, give us a shout. If you were there that day, if you're one of the guys who are older than me, there can't be many out there, obviously, but if you have any special memories of that, give us a shout. It's always nice to see them in the comments as well. But thanks for joining me for this little History Boys feature today. Whatever you're going to do rest day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More important, let's all look after each other. So we meet here again on the Citizen channel, or perhaps have a little rest from football. Have a look at my film and TV channel. If you like films and TV, I try and inform and entertain on there as well. So check that out if you can. But until we do meet again, I only ask one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. That's Manchester City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.